I love this movie. It was really good. So, this movie follows a main character that loves taking care of people. It does open up with something that you'll understand later. With a mom laying down in bed, stuff all over the floor, and a girl walking in, and then the scene just kind of abruptly ends. Then we get to the main character. She's in here with a patient that she's never met. She talks to her. The girl kills herself after not really seeming like she was going to kill herself. She was absolutely terrified. She saw someone standing there that she couldn't see. And then she kills herself. She's on the ground, absolutely terrified. And then she's just done for. She starts smiling and kills herself. This movie is an evil entity. It goes through trauma. So its go-to thing is just, kill the host that they take over, and then they kill the other host. There's no reason why. Which I don't think there needs to be a reason. It just likes killing people. Fucking with people. Causing them trauma. Now there's some explanations here and there or stuff that start to make sense later. Like in this scene, there's nobody there. There's nobody smiling. Yet she sees it in the therapist, the main character, smiling. Well, we get an explanation for that, not directly, but it's pretty clear what it is. Because later, she goes and tries to check up on a patient, and he's smiling. But she's the only one that sees him smiling. We also get an explanation of like them wearing their faces to trick them. I also get this one thing that doesn't make too much sense. She tries to go out and hiding in her mom that died's house, which is from the opening scene. She overdosed on pills. And we were told in that very scene with that girl that they can wear dead people's faces too. Because she's like, hey, my grandma that died when I was 7 appeared. So why would she really hide at the house of her mom? You'd think they'd be like really strong. Her mom's definitely gonna come back to life kinda in her little weird mind. These creatures are also kinda like Freddy Krueger. Because she has like this weird dreams that involve the creature twice in the movie. But it's not a blatant knockoff. It's just something pretty cool. I don't even think they were going for the Freddy Krueger vibe, but that's what I got from it. Like she falls asleep when she drives to the hospital because she's sleep deprived. We were explained that throughout the movie. And she has like this dream about killing someone because the only way to get rid of the entity is to kill someone in front of someone to cause them trauma, and then you will no longer have to deal with that entity. It will leave. So in this little dream, she murders a patient that we've seen a few times throughout the movie in front of her boss. And then I didn't think this was that scary. The effects were good, but I don't know, it just came off kind of goofy. And the dude rips his face off and he's screaming, and then she screams. And then obviously the second one is near the ending, which I love the ending, but I'm not ready to talk about that yet. I also have a character that's played by the actor that plays A-Train in The Boys, and he does fucking terrible in this movie. It's nothing against him, because I honestly really liked him in The Boys. He had that emotional moment with his brother. He had that scene where he kills that racist. You could really feel his anger when watching him. But in this movie, he's just like, "Are you okay? Are you sure?" And he does that like 3 fucking times in this movie. He's just so fucking bland. And he has a scene where he goes, "Are you serious right now?" Kind of like the meme. And the meme didn't even come from this movie, I don't think. Yeah, it didn't. I just realized it didn't for sure, but just the way he said it kind of ruined the scene for me. Like, the way he delivered the line. And then after that scene, he never shows up again. He just really wasn't that important of a character. And he's a little bit toxic, but the main character isn't the best either. But I still really like her in the movie. Before I forget, I definitely want to talk about this. The girl kills herself, like, pretty far away. Yet, when she gets home, she has blood on her shirt, and then she takes her shirt off. I think that was really only so they could have, like, maybe one scene to have her with her in her bra, because it didn't make sense. And then, of course, we follow her and her ex-husband throughout most of the movie, even though he apparently only has one day off. Yet he's with her a lot in this movie. Eventually, she decides, hey, they can't kill me if there's nobody for them to possess. They can't make me kill myself if there's nobody for, them to possess. So she drives all the way out to her mom's house, and we have this big sequence. She locks all the door, doesn't answer the phone when her ex-husband calls. She closes all the blinds. She has a lantern. She leaves the phone in the car. I thought she was fucked to begin with, because she left the car in the driveway. It'd make it pretty easy, because that's one of the things that missing person reports do, especially if the vehicle is missing. So they'll give a description, maybe even the license plate. And she left her phone in there. Phones can be tracked. Especially since he's a cop. Her ex-husband's a cop. I thought she would have been messed up with to begin with, but this ended up being a dream sequence. She ends up killing the creature in the dream sequence. In a line that was really good. There's too many horror movies where they have men or women try and deliver this badass line and it ends up just coming across really corny. For example, the newest example is when I watched Scream 5 and the girl killed Richie and she's like, "Fuck your ending," or something like that. It was kind of stupid. But in this, the things like, your mind is mine, or something like that. It was really good. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know exactly how it was delivered either. And then she kills the fucking thing. And then we have this sequence of her finally getting to apologize for pushing her ex-husband away, because she's been pushing away people ever since her mother died, because we find out earlier, like before she kills the creature, just a little bit before, that her mother didn't just die. She could have saved her, but she was a child. She was 10 years old. She said, "I made a mistake, called for help." And she ran out of the room and never called for help. Which, I don't blame her, she's a child. It's a pretty traumatizing thing to see your mom dying. Probably scared the shit out of her. And then she apologizes to her husband for everything and pushing him away, ex-husband. Might as well have been her husband. Her husband didn't do shit in this movie. And then she wakes up. She's been sitting in the car this whole time. She never even made it in the house. And then here comes Joel, her ex-husband. She locks herself in. The creature reveals itself one more time. And they actually do a callback from earlier in the movie. Obviously it was foreshadowing, not a callback. But earlier in the movie, she talks to Joel about her patient that she witnessed kill herself. And says she was terrified, but then she didn't even seem like the same person. And then the creature pulls her jaw down and starts to go inside of her body. It cuts, it doesn't show it, which is kind of disappointing since, this movie was pretty graphic. So not seeing that kind of sucked. But that definitely probably would have been really hard to make. Anyways, Joel finally busts the door down and it's too late. She turns around and smiles and lights herself on fire. Which is also kind of disappointing. It would have been a cool death in any other movie. But with all the very graphic, cool deaths in this movie, it's very anticlimactic. They always showed how violent these creatures can be. One person, we didn't see it, but it was described as bashing their face in with a hammer. The very first one we saw, a girl cut her face open. That dream sequence where the guy ripped his face off. We saw a picture of this dude with like his tongue halfway out of his face and his face was destroyed. Saw another dude stab himself with these two things on a video camera right in front of somebody and he just bleeds everywhere. And then she just kind of sets herself on fire and they don't even really show most of it. We do get a cool look of Joel seeing in his eyes that now he has to deal with this entity. Here's one thing, though. Couldn't they just kill themselves to get rid of the entity? Like, most people wouldn't do that. But this thing has been going on for a long time. You're telling me it's never got a legitimately suicidal person that couldn't handle the stress, so they just fucking killed themselves? It just never had that happen before? Because where is it supposed to go? Because from my understanding, it goes from trauma. So it'll go attach itself to someone. That person will eventually kill themselves after a few days or even a week. And they always do it in front of someone so they can pass it on to that other person by trauma. So if that person just decides to kill themselves, the creature has nothing to do with it. Wouldn't the entity just die? Or couldn't the entity die like what we saw in the dream sequence where she killed the entity? If she legitimately killed it. And it wasn't just a dream. If she actually was able to fight back and kill it. I don't know. Wish they would have explained that part a little more. Other than that, I love this movie. Oh, also, the dude that plays Turk Barrett in the Netflix Marvel shows, plays a pretty significant role. It's one scene. But it's one of those characters that one scene is enough. If you've seen a movie, or a lot of good movies, you probably know what I'm talking about. Some characters can have so many scenes and they don't matter. And then one scene can matter to the plot. And he mattered. And he did a really good performance. He was one of the people that survived by figuring out that you had to kill someone to get rid of it, and someone else had to witness it. So he killed his neighbor's wife in front of his neighbor, and he's been in jail ever since in a holding cell. Oh, and I do want to mention one thing. Joel's actor has played in 3 different horror movies that I've seen. He's been in other horror movies and other movies, but he's been in 3 horror movies I've seen. Played a minor role in Scream 5, which just isn't really a spoiler since he's not even one of the main characters, just some random dude that's sort of connected to the sort of main character. Scream 5 was a very different movie. Still better than 4 and 3, though. He gets killed. He was one of the main characters in the Freddy Krueger reboot. And he also played the emo dude in Jennifer's Body. But he looks different in all of his movies. I don't even know how I recognized him. And then also her sister's husband is the dude that was a cop in the movie Freaky, the horror movie that came out 2 years ago. If they ever do a sequel, I think it would be pretty interesting to see what they do with Joel. Because the guy that plays him is a very talented actor. But I don't know if they could really perfect a sequel. I think this is one of those movies that just needs one movie and it to be done.